Hello everyone. So in this class, we are going to learn about encapsulation. So basically in the past class, we have learned what is an abstraction and all that. So basically abstraction, which is very much helpful to hide the actual implementation and it reveals the data whichever we require, right? So in this class, you are going to learn about encapsulation. So encapsulation, which basically means which consists of methods and attributes. So it will bind both the method and also the attributes. So let us see what is an encapsulation with few examples. So now see here, I'm using hash function to declare how we are declare comments in this program. So basically, we cannot implement directly the encapsulation here using public modifiers and all that. Using the modifiers in Python, we will use this encapsulation. So those are called private, protected, and also public. So these are the three access modifiers which are there in Python and which will help us to implement the encapsulation process. So now let us see with an example. Here class is a class name which I'm declaring. This is nothing but a keyword. So I'm declaring a class name which is nothing but value and followed by a column over here. Instead of this value, you can change it to any other also. You can rename it to values. Okay, it depends on your wish. It's a completely user defined name. Now, let us declare some values over here. Now, using this def underscore underscore, I'm writing initialization. Instead of that, I'm writing self. So, self is nothing but you have to enter one parameter. Okay. Now, let us give some values. Now, self dot a is equals to 10. Okay, this is nothing but a public, right? Because there is no single underscore or there is no double underscore or anything. Now, if I write self dot single underscore b, using a single underscore, you are writing some value and this is nothing but here protected. So, I hope everyone understand what is public and what is protected and all that. When there is no underscores or anything, that is nothing but it is called public. When you are using a single underscore, that is nothing but protected. And if you are using double underscore, let us see self dot underscore underscore c is equals to some 30. This is nothing but private. So what I wanted to conclude is, let me just show you how it's going to run. Now I'm creating an object. Okay, now the object is equals to, you have to create the object with the class name, right? Object is equals to values. Now see, if I start running print of object dot a, you'll get an output. This is a public. Okay, so you can get the values. Okay, now see, let me just run the program. So your value is 10, right? So now the same program, if I start writing print of object dot b, you'll get an output. But if you write directly b, you'll get an error. So because we mentioned that protected, no? So you have to use that the same b. So use print of object dot single underscore because that is a protected. So you have to mention. Now the final thing is if you write print of object dot single and double underscore c, now you'll get an error because this is a private thing which you are trying to access it out of the class. So whenever you try to access like this, you'll get an error. So the name of the error is, see here you can see, right, attribute error. Values object has no attribute c. So you cannot access directly here. That's what I wanted to come. Or else for the same program, if you try to convey like, let me just copy the code which is there on the top also. See here. See, here I'm trying to use this class A and B. I'm just writing over here. See here. Now see, let us check the program over here. Now see this class values A is equals to 20. This A is equals to public. I'm using with the hash function so that you can understand better. And the same value of B is also public because I'm not using any underscores, right? Now see here self.c, which is nothing but this is a protected. Okay, so this is a protected and now I'm trying to access this protected. Now you'll get an output or not, check it. See, you're getting an output for the value of A is 20, the value of B is 30 and the value of C is 10. Okay, Did you observe one thing? In the object creation, I have passed some value using self.c is equals to c. There I have mentioned this value in the object creation. Okay. Now what you come to understand by this, you can access a program. Okay. You can access a protected within the function and outside of the function also. But if you access a private thing, you cannot access out of the class. Okay. Now let us declare one more thing. If you have started writing with a method, let us write class person. So now see here, I'm writing here def. The name of the method is thanya. Okay. Now write self over here. Now instead of this, write return statement. Put the parenthesis. You can see me. Okay. Now for the same statement, I'm writing one more time. Okay. So now I'm writing def using single underscore. Single underscore, I'm writing. Okay. Let me just change the name. Guide. Okay. Now I'm writing guide self. Okay, put the column. Now use the same return statement over here. Okay, put the parenthesis open bracket and write still you can see me now. Okay, the same statement but I have changed now right now. Okay, now there is one more method called double underscore. Let me write thanya to guide over here and put the column parenthesis self. Now let us write the same return statement and mention you cannot see me. Okay, you cannot see me. That means we cannot access this. I have mentioned the program like this. Now let us create an object. Object is equals to with what we'll create an object? With a person. Okay, because that is my class name, right? Now let us create an object. Now the object creation is done. Let us print the statement. Print of object dot. What is our first method? Tanya, right? Now let us run it whether we'll get an output or not. See, you're getting like this. Why we are getting like that? The main dot object that is showing the its person, its object path it is showing. Okay. Now still print of. Okay, instead of this return statement, if you write print, that's far better. Let's change it to print. See the same print statement, I'm just copying. Okay. Now see print of object dot single underscore guide, right? The name is guide. Now let's run it. You got an error while scanning end of line error. Yeah, I gave double quotes over here in the name. Because of that, we are getting an error. Let's run it. Yeah, still the same thing. Now let's run one more time. Print of object dot double underscore Tanya to guide. Okay. Now see. Okay, see. Here you are getting an error. Object has no attribute underscore Tanya to guide. This means that whatever the method you are writing, so there you'll definitely get an error. Okay. This main dot object also no issues if you get like this, but you should definitely get an error because you cannot access a method where it includes the private thing. Okay, you can access a public, you can access protected, but you cannot access this private method. Okay, so that is the reason at the end you'll get an error. So try to implement the same thing with a person, employee name and all that. So suppose let us take class, there is a person, okay, followed by column. Now let's write def underscore underscore init. This means that initialization, right? Let's write self. Instead of self you can write anything. Self comma name comma id comma salary. So totally how many attributes are there? Three attributes, right? So you have to pass three arguments. Now let us write self dot name is equals to name. Now self dot id is equals to id. So the same thing, self dot, what is the left thing? Salary, right? Self dot salary is equals to salary. Now, did you observe one thing? We need to create a method over here. Now, let us name the method name is equals to def name. So the naming should be very clear. So you have to understand it very clearly. Okay. Now, let us write some statement over here. Return, or else let's write print statement. Print double quotes ID, put a column and separate that with a comma. Now, what is the statement which you need to write? You need to write self.name. Now, let me write one more statement for the ID. I'm writing different methods. In all one method also you can write it. But I'm not writing like that. I'm using three different names. ID, okay? Okay. So now, let us pass self over here. Now, what is the thing which we need to write over here? We need to write a print statement. Print ID. Yeah, in the top I made a mistake. I don't know whether you're noticing or not. Here you have to write the name. Name, right? Write it in capital letters for your proper understanding and all that. This ID should be also, if it is in capital letters, it's far better. Now what we need to write? Self.id. Okay, but this method is protected method, so you have to use single underscore. So this is only for your checking purpose whether we can access these methods or not. Okay, this method is public method and this is protected method. Now we'll write one more method. That method is nothing but your private method. So let's write underscore underscore and let's write salary. The name should be capital letter. If possible, try to mention the name always with capital letters for proper understanding and for neat declaration of your statements. Now let's write print statement. You'll get an indentation error. Let's check in the last. Okay. So let's write salary, put a column and separate that with a comma. Now you have to write self dot salary. Fine. So everything is done. What is the only thing left? Let's create an object. Object is equals to, what is your class name? Person. So put that person and here you have to pass their name, Thanya, and your ID is some 23, comma, and you have to mention your salary. That is nothing but 10,000, okay, or just give 10,000 or something like that. Yep. So now we create an object and we passed an arguments. Now the only thing which left is print of object dot name you need to give, right? So what is the name, object name which you gave? Object name, you have to mention the name. Object dot name, print of object dot ID. What is your method name there? Whatever you give, you have to mention that. Okay. This is single underscore and I have mentioned that ID with the capital letters and all that. So you have to mention the same thing. The name of the method, what you have given, you have to write that. Now object dot double underscore. So if you are feeling uncomfortable, directly copy this and write it over here. Control V. For this name also, I need to change it because there I gave a different method name. Control C and Control V. You are here accessing the methods directly. Okay, let us see whether we'll get an output or not. See, self is not defined, it is showing an error. Somewhere we missed the self statement. Yeah, so this is regarding the attributes of a person regarding the salary encapsulation. Okay, so self dot name is equals to name. Everything here we made the mistake. Self is not defined clearly, because of that we are getting error. Okay, see, we are getting object has no attribute because we created an object for the salary method. Because of that, we are getting an error. So always try to access this private method, which will get an error. So if you are getting an error, that is correct program. If you don't get an error, that is a wrong program. So I hope everyone understands. See here, this is a program where I declared with a small variables that is nothing but public, private, and protected. I'm saying it if there is no underscores, that is public. If there is a single underscore, that is protected. If there are two underscores, that is nothing but private. So when you try to create an object for the protected, you'll get it. When you try to create for public, you'll get it. But whenever you're trying to get it for a private method, you cannot call it. If you call it out of the class, you'll definitely get an error. I hope everyone understand these things. Don't get confused if you get bound method person.thanya main object also. Nothing will happen. But the only thing, ultimate thing is you have to get an output regarding this error. I hope everyone understand. Thank you.